This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association, your daily recap of the information that affects Iowa's farmers, producers, and consumers, right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning broadcast team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, and Mark Magnuson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Mark Magnuson.
Hello and welcome into Ag Matters PM on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Mark Magnuson. Today is Monday, February 5th, 2024, and we're so glad you can join us for today's show. In today's episode, I will have the latest Iowa Ag News headlines, and we will also hear from Stephanie Wetter. She is the Director of Animal Welfare for the National Pork Board. But first, it's our closing market summary.
It's time now for the Ag Matters PM Closing Market Summary, your source for market analysis and settlement prices from the day's trade in Chicago, courtesy of the folks at agmarket.net.
At the end of another trading day, we are joined now by Robin Schmahl of agmarket.net. Robin, what did we see take place in the grains today?
Well, we really didn't see a whole lot of movement in the corn market. Wheat was under pressure. The soybean complex, though, that showed some nice strength. Did struggle for quite a bit during the day, but we did come back. So all in all, it really wasn't a lot of real excitement, I guess, happening. We did have export inspections early this morning. Corn was 24.6 million bushels, down 11.9 million bushels, so that was not very friendly to the corn. Soybeans, 52.4 million bushels, up 18.9, so that was a vast improvement from last week. Probably one of the reasons why it was supported a little bit more. Wheat, 9.8 million bushels, down 600,000 bushels. So all in all, again, it's just one of those things we put into the spreadsheets and all, but probably wasn't a big mover in the market per se. Now, we did have a daily export sales of 155,000 metric tons to Mexico of corn. Mexico's been a big buyer. They are seeming to be buying ahead. They've been doing a lot of business so far, picking up corn. Now we did have in the soybean sector, soybeans bounced after they made new contract, or no, I shouldn't say contract, those new lows early this morning or overnight. So that was a positive sign. Bounced off of those lows, moved the lows reached back to June 8th. So that was of last year. So that was pretty significant, being able to bounce off of that. But we certainly isn't turning the market higher now. It's a little early to anticipate that. We were doing some positioning ahead of the WASDE report that will be released on Thursday. A little early for that yet, but I think some of the eyes were on the weather in South America. The heat wave in Argentina is causing some concern, but yet maybe taking it off of a bumper crop. The corn crop that they have down there as well, but really the majority of the crop is still in pretty good position. So it's really nothing that's really going to change the market unless something major happens there. Commitment of traders showed continued shorts developing into the positions, corn and soybeans. Funds are net short corn, 279,548 contracts. The record was 344,185, so we're not very far from that. Soybeans, they're short 101,598. The record was 171 of 141. That's a little bit more of a cushion there, but we are very short in that market that at some point in time we could really trigger some kind of short covering, but we have to have a catalyst in order to do that. Now, Brazil soybean planting is 16% done as of Thursday. It's the second fastest planting pace they've had in history. The earliest planting they had was in 2018-19 crop year. The safrinha corn planting pace is 27% complete, and that's the fastest rate since 2013. As far as the other part of the complex, Malaysian palm oil stocks in January fell the most that they have in 9 months. So we saw the support coming into the soybean complex, soybean oil, soybean meal, soybeans. kind of tug of war a little bit in corn. Wheat was under pressure with double-digit losses. Some of that has to do with the strong rally we've had in the dollar both Friday and today, which can have some kind of an import on their exports.
So as Robin mentioned, we will be getting ready to take in all that information in the WASDE report later this week. Let's switch over, Robin, to the other side of the ag marketplace. And what happened in the protein sector today?
Well, the protein sector was under pressure in all three categories. Triple-digit losses, basically. Now, I think in part a lot of it has to do with just maybe a little bit of a market correction. Market has been overbought because last week we had some strong cash cattle sales. Southern cattle were up $4 to $5. Northern dress cattle up $3. Packers really didn't purchase a whole lot of cattle ahead. They're only about 10% they purchased ahead again last week, and so that's been a pattern that we've seen lately. So that should probably bring them into the market a little more aggressive again this week. Now feedlots know that, so the feedlots are going to hold higher, which is normal, but they might be a little more aggressive this time again because they know that the Packers are a little short bought. Now boxed beef at midday, choice was about steady with last week. Friday, the select was up 34 cents. Boxed beef is still kind of struggling a little bit back and forth. We're not seeing any consistent trend develop there. So it's one thing that the Packers will be looking at because, they want to make sure they have demand there. But our slaughter pace has picked up. So our slaughter pace picking up means they need more cattle. And that puts really the feedlots into the driver's seat right now. Hogs, same thing, triple-digit losses. Midday cutouts were down 68 cents. Most of the weakness in the cutout side was the bellies. That was down $7.17 up to the midday cut. National Daily Direct for the morning report was down 48 cents. Hogs have seen a couple of days of some weakness. They continued it today, again, correcting from an overbought situation. Hogs were not able to penetrate last week above the price resistance technically, and they backed off from them. And they just need to get a little bit more support. And they can get it if cash would start to trade a little bit higher, maybe by the close of today or maybe early this week, similar to what we've done last week. It could provide a little bit more of support, a little more of a catalyst to turn the market back up to try to test resistance again.
Robin, I know that agmarket.net offers a lot of resources for our viewers to use. How can they get a hold of those resources, and what's the best way to get in touch?
Well, they can call me directly, 877-256-3253, or go to our website, agmarket.net. It does have some drop-downs there that shows what we have available. You can sign up for any of those things, free trial for our Ag Market Intel, or call the phone number there. It's an 844 number. And you'll be able to reach somebody and they'll be able to help and answer your questions.
And Robin, I was going to ask you at the start, but I wanted to jump right into the markets, but you're obviously playing an away game today. Where are you at today? And thanks so much for taking the time to join us.
Yeah, we're in Nashville, Tennessee. Our annual conference for Ag Market is here. This is the second day. It's been a very good lineup of speakers. We've had quite a few farmers are here and some media people, so it's really been a good conference.
I'm glad you guys are having a great time so far, Robin. Thanks once again, and have a great rest of your trip.
All right, thank you. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you to Robin Schmahl of agmarket.net for our market summary as he was in Nashville today. Thanks to Robin for taking the time to join us. Let's turn now to the closing numbers, which can be found under the Markets tab on our website at iowaagnet.com.
March corn unchanged at 442 3/4. March soybeans up 7 3/4 at 11.96 1/4. Soybean meal up $4.30 at 361.10. March soybean oil up 60 cents at 45.33. Chicago wheat down 9.5 at 5.90 1/4. Minneapolis wheat down 8 3/4 at 6.91 even. Kansas City hard red wheat down 11 even at 6.14 even. March oats down 4 1/4 at 367 1/2. On the Merc, February live cattle down 82 cents at 179.72. March feeder cattle down $2.05 at 242.75. February lean hogs down $1.05 at 74.40. February pork cutout down $1.10 at 86.15. February class 3 milk up 6 cents at 16.33.
That's our market coverage for today. It's time now to hear from our sponsor, the Iowa Soybean Association and the Soybean Checkoff. And up next, we have the latest Iowa Ag News headlines.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
You're watching Ag Matters PM on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, and it's time now for the Iowa Ag News headlines. The Cattle Facts Outlook Seminar at the 2024 Cattle Industry Convention and the NCBA Trade Show in Florida shared expert market and weather analytics last week. The smallest beef cow inventory in the last 50 years, coupled with historically strong demand, led to the highest average fed cattle and calf prices in 2023. As reduced cattle numbers and beef production continue over the next 3 years, leverage and profitability will continue to favor cattle producers. Despite record prices, an expansion will likely be delayed once again. Lingering drought, high input cost, limited labor availability, high interest rates, and market uncertainty all serve as headwinds against growing the cow herd. Cow and bull slaughter is forecast to be 6.5 million head in 2024. That's down around 800,000 head from 2023. Though cattle inventories may stay elevated for a few months, they're expected to decline significantly through the second half of 2024, says Kevin Good of Cattle Facts. USDA data shows the U.S. soybean crush rose month to month, but did miss expectations. Processors crushed 204 million bushels of soybeans in December. That's up from 200 million a month earlier. The agency's report says that's up from the 187 million bushels processed in December 2022, but it is still down from the 206 million forecast before the report went public. Crude oil produced from the crush rose to 2.38 billion pounds, up 2% from November and 8% from the same month a year earlier. Iowa was by far the biggest crusher of soybeans at approximately 49.3 million bushels. Illinois second at 25.4 million bushels. The states combined for 37% of the soybeans crushed in the United States during December. About 51 million bushels crushed in the North and East region. That includes Indiana, Kentucky, Maryland, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Virginia. Processors in the North Central region crushed 37 million bushels of soybeans. And at the 2024 Iowa Pork Congress in Des Moines, I had the chance to visit with Stephanie Wetter. She is the Director of Animal Welfare for the National Pork Board. Stephanie tells the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network that the two main certification programs for swine production, PQA and TQA, lead to building trust with consumers.
Those are our two main certification programs for the pork industry. PQA or PQA Plus stands for Pork Quality Assurance. So this is teaching our producers the everyday goings on of what we do in the barn, right? The basics of caring for your animals, the basics of animal handling, responsible antibiotic use, those types of things. TQA is Transport Quality Assurance. So this is a certification and training program specifically designed for those animal handlers and animal transporters, understanding that our commitment to our pigs does not stop at the farm gate.
While the certification programs are always being updated, it is a multi-year cycle.
So we've got that constant revision cycle. TQA version 7 came out in 2023. I'm very happy to announce that and the changes with that specific program. The next version of PQA is coming out in 2025. We've got some great new content for that, but we do have a new and exciting announcement about these programs for PQA Plus, PQA Site Assessment, and TQA. Last year, 2023, USDA came out and granted ISO compliance to these different programs, recognizing that this suite of certification and training programs align with the World Organizations of Animal Health's international standards for animal welfare. Now, producers may not recognize who the World Organization of Animal Health is, or even these international standards or what they mean, but those who would be exporting pork or selling pork internationally, and certainly our international customers, will recognize these standards. So this is a huge plus for the pork industry as a whole, and certainly for our producers who can be proud in what they're already doing, right?
She says that Prop 12 compliance is also something that producers are striving to achieve early in 2024.
We field questions about California Proposition 12 or Prop 12 with a lot of frequency, right? Prop 12 is now the law of the land, and as of January 1st of 2024, it is required that pigs or pork being sold within the state borders of California be Prop 12 certified. So what that means for our producers, even here in Iowa, it's going to have an impact on them. So any pigs or pork that are destined to be sold within the state of California have to have that certification. So this goes back all the way to the sow farm, right? So this is compliance that's going to require 24 square feet, the ability to turn around, and the records associated with that from the sow farm to become audited and stay compliant in that space.
And she explains how the audit process for Prop 12 compliance works.
So the California Department of Food and Agriculture, or CDFA, is the group that is going to oversee this whole process. So CDFA has a list of auditing companies, and they're going to call them certifying agents. And they've got a list of those groups that you can contact and start that certification process if you're looking to become compliant. So if you go to CDFA's Animal Care Program website, click on the tab that says certifying agent, you'll find a whole list of different auditing companies that you can get started with, start that discussion of what would compliance look like for me.
Thank you once again to Stephanie Wetter, the Director of Animal Welfare with the National Pork Board. And that wraps up today's news headlines and brings us to the end of today's show. You can find all of our content on our website at iowaagnet.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, X, TikTok, and LinkedIn. And you can find our video content and previous episodes of AM/PM on our YouTube channel. Don't forget as well our free twice-daily market podcast on Apple, Amazon, Google, Spotify, and Podbean. From the IARN studios in Des Moines, I'm Mark Magnuson. On behalf of Riley Smith, Dustin Huffman, and Andy Peterson, we thank you for watching. This has been Ag Matters PM.